KEYC News Now to Go is sponsored by Rivers Edge Hospital and Clinic, people caring for people.
Moments like these make life worth living. Rivers Edge Hospital and Clinic is your partner in taking control of your own health. Take your steps towards a lasting tomorrow. Rivers Edge Hospital.
Hello, good morning, and thanks for joining us for this KEYC News Now to Go update. I'm Jackson Jerk, and in a few minutes I'll be joined by First Alert meteorologist Caitlin Lohr with a look at today's forecast and a recap of the storms from yesterday. U.S. Representative Angie Craig is the latest Minnesota Democrat to enter an increasingly competitive race for the U.S. Senate seat held by the retiring Senator Tina Smith. In her launch video, Craig vows to break through the chaos. She says she'll fight back against a president trampling our rights and freedoms as he profits for personal gain and a cowardly Republican Party rolling over and letting it all happen. Craig is entering the Senate race after holding recent town hall meetings in all 4 congressional districts held by Minnesota Republicans, including one last Friday here in Mankato. Smith announced in February that she wouldn't run again. Craig is the 3rd Democrat to enter the race following Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan and former State Senator Melissa Lopez Franzen. Republicans running in the race include Royce White, a former NBA player who lost to Amy Klobuchar in 2024, and former congressional candidate Adam Schwarzy, a veteran of the Marine Corps and the Iraq War. Happening today, special election for one northern Minnesota Senate district. Voters will be heading to the polls to elect a new state senator after Justin Eichhorn resigned after being charged in a prostitution sting operation. The 6th district makes up portions of Itasca, Cass, and Crow Wing counties, with Grand Rapids on the north side and the Brainerd Lakes on the south end. DFLer Denise Slipey and Republican Carrie Heitzman are facing off. Slipey from Breezy Point is a self-proclaimed moderate running as a DFLer who believes the working class needs more representation in St. Paul. If elected, she plans to focus on job and economic growth, education, and rural health care access. She says the only way for those topics to receive the attention they need is a shift in parties.
Our community has been red for so long, and we just keep losing the good jobs. It gets sold out for corporate greed, and it's time for a balanced voice.
Meanwhile, Nisswa native Carrie Heitzman is the Republican candidate running for the seat. Her husband is no political stranger as he holds the state house seat for Minnesota District 6B. Heitzman describes herself as being pro-life and pro-Second Amendment. If she gets elected, she plans to prioritize all things family and keeping the seat conservative.
I feel qualified and ready to run. I have the experience and the trusted, proven track record of being a conservative with Christian values that I think that this district will demand.
Polls in northern Minnesota for that race open today at 7 a.m. and will stay open until 8 p.m. Back at home, a Mankato man makes a deal to plead guilty to second-degree murder charges after a shooting last December. 18-year-old Gunther Boone Jr. was arrested accused of shooting Darius Deshaun Johnson on December 21st in Mankato. Boone was indicted on 5 charges, including first-degree murder, second-degree murder, possessing a firearm with no serial number, and possession without a permit. Boone appeared in court yesterday and entered a petition to plead guilty to second-degree murder. Boone's next court appearance is scheduled for May 7th. Staying at home, the Mankato man accused of fatally stabbing a man at Quick Trip last month appeared in court yesterday as well. Michael Lee Miller is charged with second-degree murder in the killing of Dennis Vosika, who was stabbed 43 times while working at a Quick Trip in Mankato on March 18th. Miller's attorney is seeking a mental illness defense in the case, and yesterday's hearing was discussing a motion that was filed to transport Miller to the Minnesota Security Hospital in St. Peter until a full mental examination is finished. Miller is currently being held in the Blue Earth County Jail. A lot calmer out there for weather-wise today, but an active day for many yesterday. This video captured by a meteorologist near Winnebago showing what may have led to the report of 2 tornadoes yesterday afternoon between Blue Earth and Winnebago. Strong thunderstorms were moving through the region at the time. This is a storm that eventually moved through Waseca and into the Faribault area. As the storms moved east, they caused more significant damage. This was a scene in the Goodhue County town of Kenyon. As you can see, some farm buildings and homes sustained damages some homes sustained damage from the storms. So far, no injuries have been reported. Joining me at the desk now to kind of go over those storms is Caitlin Lord. Caitlin, it's been a while since you and I have talked, and quite a bit has happened. Obviously, we hope and pray that everyone was safe yesterday during those storms. Some scary scenes there, but so far, no reports of any accidents like that.
Yeah, you know, a lot of eyes are on those potential 2 tornadoes that we saw between around the Good Thunder, or I've been reading the National Weather Service, so the Winnebago area, not Good Thunder, the Winnebago area, those are being deemed more so as what we call gust-nados, which is very common in the setup we had. When you have a strong cold front coming through, you have winds that are also being picked up from the ground, right? And when that happens, it can pick up the dust and make it look like a tornado is forming, and there's no sign of rotation. And if you recall Sean's live yesterday where he kept saying, I'm not seeing signs of a tornado or anything that makes me feel cautious other than the gust front, and that's what's kind of being determined as what may have been reported and seen near that area down to the south and west of us. But for those of us that were close or within the area in Faribault of Rice County, the National Weather Service has confirmed a tornado there, and they will be sending a team to assess the damage to give us a report of what that tornado may be rated, as they have to assess that damage before they can give us that official report. So the official confirmation is a tornado was confirmed in Faribault of Rice County, but the strength of that tornado has yet to be determined. So we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, get that by this afternoon. Now the good news is we got some much needed rain in the area. Better news is we are looking at quieter weather coming our way for the next stretch of 7 to 10 days, aside from just a few isolated rain chances. So I was compiling this list as we started, and as you can see, Owatonna coming in at the top with just over an inch of rain, followed by Albert Lee. From there, it kind of goes down all the way to just shy of an inch, or excuse me, just shy of a half an inch here at this station in North Mankato. Some totals go down to a quarter of an inch. I know St. Peter was ranging between a quarter of an inch and a third of an inch. And it all just depended on where some of those stronger severe storms moved through the areas. Those storms had heavier rainfall rates associated with them. So some of your totals may vary a little bit, especially say you're in Owatonna and maybe the side of Owatonna you're in got maybe 3/4 of an inch, or maybe here in Mankato you got over an inch of rain. It just depends on where you are. You can have a drastic difference from the north side of town to the south side of town or the west to the east, things like that. So if you're in one of these areas and you're going, well, that's not what I got, there's very likely a good reason why that happened, and that's just because your location was just slightly different from where we are taking these totals from. So it could be a little bit of a range out there. Just to show you that we are looking at drier, quieter weather. Not a whole lot coming our way, just a couple isolated chances between Wednesday night and Friday morning. Winds have been breezy today following the passage of that cold front and those storms yesterday, but the good news is winds are going to die down through this afternoon and into tonight, staying nice and light anywhere between calm conditions and 10 miles an hour. Temperature-wise, rather seasonal with a high of 57 degrees for this afternoon. Seasonal or average for this time of year, right around 60 degrees, give or take. And that's kind of going to be right where we're sitting today. So right on par for where we should be for this time of year. Tonight, it's going to feel a little chilly out there once again as skies become partly cloudy. Temperatures dropping too low of 39 degrees by tomorrow morning. But don't worry, tomorrow is going to stay dry with mid-60s on the way and a mix of sunshine and cloud coverage as we kind of teeter between mostly sunny and partly cloudy. But take a look at our winds. That breeze is going to return throughout tomorrow. Here's a look at your extended forecast showing that we are looking at those isolated showers returning on Thursday as we welcome May. But Jackson, get excited for this. I know you're going to love this weekend forecast. Sunshine and 70s near 80 degrees. We are looking at 80s by Tuesday next week, and even next week looking to be pleasant with just a couple isolated rain chances.
It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Definitely going to have to put on the sunscreen, learn that lesson again over the last weekend, but that's okay because now we got a good base burn, and Stacy will be mad at me. So
Yep,
got
got to remember. I just stocked up on sunscreen for Harvey, so that
There
should be
you
your
go.
reminder to get your sunscreen, Jackson.
There you go. Mom will say the same thing, so that's all we need to do. All right, we're going to transition into the sports world real quick for a couple MSU stories. In the sports world, and specifically Division II, there's no denying the powerhouse that MSU athletics is. So when you bring all the athletes and coaching staff together for an award ceremony where there's exceptional talent across the board, you never know who the award will go to. Yesterday evening, the student athletes and coaches gathered together for the Maverick Award celebration to honor the best in Minnesota State athletics. There were many categories, but to name a few of the Male Athlete Award winners, this year, Male Athlete of the Year award went to MSU goaltender Alex Tracy, who led the NCAA in goal against average and save percentage. The Coach of the Year went to MSU head soccer coach, Brian Ball. Coach Ball helped lead his team to an 18-2-7 record and a trip to the national title game where MSU finished as the national runner-up. Along with Coach Ball being named Coach of the Year, the women's soccer team was voted Team of the Year. You can find the full list of winners and categories on the MSU Athletics page website. To the Diamond, the Minnesota State baseball team continues to roll this season. The Mavericks took home the title of NSAC Conference champs this past weekend, and the race wasn't even close. MSU dominating the conference, currently sitting at 31-4 with 5 games remaining. The next closest team to MSU is Augustana with a 25-10 record. So MSU could lose the next 5 games and still sit in first place in the conference, which is why they are this year's NSAC Conference champs. The team is on the road today at Wayne State for a doubleheader. Then the Mavericks finish out the regular season at home with a 3-game series against Southwest Minnesota State. We'll hear more from the team later this week on Maverick Insider. That'll do it for this edition of KEYC News Now to Go Update. And as always, thanks for watching this KEYC News Now to Go Update. Stay with KEYC News Now for the latest local news, weather, and sports on our website.
And as always, download the free KEYC News and weather apps for the latest headlines and forecast.